The wise traveler is prudently precautious. One, know your adversary. Now, I'm not talking about detailed academic knowledge of each terrorist group around the world, but I'm saying something like, if a group in the Middle East takes hostages, do they release the hostages at the end of negotiations, or do they kill them? This can affect your decision whether you're going to try and escape, which is always a high-risk operation anyway. So, but knowing something about what's going on in the area you're visiting from the terrorist viewpoint. Do they carry out assassinations? Do they like bombings? If they do get into the hijacking business, the Muslims or the Shiites are big into the hijacking business now. This is something you're going to be a little more precautious around airplanes and airports as opposed to, say, traveling by train then if you're in the Middle East. Knowing the modus operandi, the MO of groups in the area where you're going to visit. Secondly, don't be predictable. Don't go down to breakfast in your hotel every morning at the exact same time. Don't leave by the same door every time. Don't take the same taxi. The small little things of varying your route, for example, so not being predictable. How are you going to get to the airport? Well, I drove last time in my personal car. This time I'll call for a taxi, randomly selecting the taxi company, etc. Sometimes you will find, if you're a corporate business traveler, you are met by a car from the subsidiary where you're being met, and the car is driven by a local national. Now, this is fine. I wouldn't do it all the time. Once I say I had to visit Rome 4 times a year for my corporation, and every time the company car shows up and there's a company driver there, an Italian. This is fine. Everything seems fine. But maybe once you get to know how to get from the airport to your hotel or to the offices, ask the driver to sit over in the passenger seat and you drive yourself. The reason is that when vehicular assassinations have taken place in the past, the terrorists normally don't kill the local national driver because that ticks off the local population. So the drivers know this. So they're not going to be all that adverse to stopping the car because they know they're going to live through it. And they stop the car, the guy in the back seat gets hosed down with 20 rounds of 9mm, and the driver's sitting there and, gee, that's a real shame, but I'm still alive. So how to handle that, let the driver ride for a change, and you drive.